morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we will be learning about some of the leftover topics, and I hope this is the last class of biophysics, and I will be sending you all the notes. And these three PDFs, as you can see over here, these are more or less some research papers. So since it's very modern topic, so I cannot get any particular book to refer. So these research papers, I have highlighted some of the portions. Not everything is there in your syllabus, so the highlighted portions will be mainly important for your examination purpose. So as you can see over here in your syllabus also, there is a little bit of neurotransmission and how the action potentials are being involved in various kinds of neurotransmission, and what is the significance of action potential, and how it is generated, how the charges are transporting from one side to other side of the cell membrane. So these things are covered in mainly neurotransmission. So this is nothing but a kind of ion channel, ion transport mechanism via the cell membrane, right? So there is a topic in your module 4 which is all about the ion channel and pump. What is the difference between ion channel and pump, how the mechanism of transfer of ions like sodium, potassium or chlorine, proton that takes place from one side to the other side of the membrane. So we will be talking about little bit of those things, ठीक है? So mainly we will be today the mainly we will be talking about how to manipulate neural activities, that is we are interfering with the neurotransmission process. And sometimes in some patients, like some people who are suffering from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer, Parkinson's, then Huntington disease, all sort of neurotransmission related disorders are there. So we have studied little bit of these diseases as a protein misfolding disorders that are mainly being caused in aged persons. But sometimes in those people's brain there are certain treatment procedure that has been. Acha. So sometimes those patients they undergo some kind of treatment. So we will be talking about little bit of those treatments, how they are being done in case of those patients. So we will be talking little bit about those things. So first, we are trying to study the manipulation of neural activity. So neural activity bolte कि we are tampering with the action potential, we are trying to ignite some stimulus into the neurons, and accordingly how the response is generated and how this response that is being generated is being detected at the output. So techniques that will be used to do this manipulation of neural activity in those patients are mainly involving physical manipulation. That is, we do some kind of physical approach in those kinds of neurons. That is ablation, thermal cooling. Then we have electrical manipulation of the neural activity. That is microstimulation, electrolytic lesions. Pharmacological manipulation, you are treating with some drugs like agonist, antagonist. Agonist antagonist কাকে বলে সেগুলো you have studied little bit in your microbiology, um, which activates your system. Sometimes it uh, deactivates your system. So these kind of drugs are known as agonist antagonist drug delivery methods. So pharmacological manipulation is there. Sometimes there are genetic manipulation, that is you are perturbing the endogenous genes, expression of genes to the ablated neurons. Pharmacogenomics are there, that is you are doing some kind of transgenes from other species and you are putting into that design receptors according to various in silico methods. That is you are doing some kind of computational techniques before being tested in the patient's body. You are doing some computational simulation and you are designing some drugs and you are trying to locate what kind of changes this drug is having or may bring about in the body. Then there is optogenetics. It's very important. Looking into the current module 4, we will be talking about optogenetics. That is, there are certain ion channels, proteins that are responsible in transporting your sodium potassium molecules that are very much important in the neural transmission. Then there is neuromodulation in brains. That is you are changing some kind of stimulus and accordingly you are getting some response. So these are the various kinds of techniques. As you can see over here, you have physical method, electrical method, then pharmacological, that is you are putting some kind of drug, then genetic manipulation, you are doing some kind of modification in the genes. As you can see, these neurons are in some other color, and here you are putting some foreign genes. That's why these particular neurons have been highlighted with a black border. So these are foreign agents that have been put inside your neurons. Then there is pharmacogenetics and optogenetics. Opto means light. So with the help of some kind of light, how the neurons are getting activated. So here comes the role of certain proteins that are getting activated when they are being incident with some kind of light of a definite wavelength. Okay, so we are giving some kind of light, we are incident some kind of light in the protein or the neurons, and they are getting activated, or some of the membrane proteins are activated when they are being hit with some frequency of light. So we call it as the optogenetics. And genetics, because some of the it brings upon activation of these proteins, there are certain changes in the genes. As you can see, we will be studying those things. So how the optogenetics and what are the proteins, transmembrane proteins, mainly these rhodopsin proteins, membrane proteins, are being activated with the help of these kinds of light. Okay, so access. Optogenetics is the field of study can be broadly categorized into effectors, actuators, and sensors. So there are three things, which is effector, actuators, and sensors. Optogenetic effectors or actuators are tools that can be used to control the neural circuit. So it's mainly driven by the ion channel, ion potential. Okay, so these are intricate neural circuits which can be tampered with the help of certain frequency of light. We will see how it operates. And while optogenetic sensors are used as probes to monitor the neural circuit. So we are talking about neurons. That means we are talking of certain movement of stimulus and how those information is being carried forward to the brain, it is processed, and how it is giving you some kind of response. The optogenetic effectors and actuators, they are being classified into two superfamilies of proteins. As you can see, microbial type 1 opsins and animal, that is type 2 opsins. So these, there are two main similarities between two families of proteins. First, both require a compound which is structurally related to vitamin A, retinal, which serves as an organic cofactor. So these opsins are nothing but they are a class of proteins. One can be of a microbial origin, can be of an animal origin. Okay, so type 1, type 2 opsins are there. And what is the main similarity in their structure? Both are having some kind of cofactor attached to it, which is vitamin A, serves as a cofactor to this particular protein. So retinal is a bound chromophore which possesses the ability to absorb the photon. So when this cofactor is bound to the protein, it can absorb the photons of a particular wavelength, and hence enable the photocycle to ensue. And whenever this opsin protein is attached to the vitamin A, that is retinal, so we call that opsin protein as rhodopsin. So optogenetics can be classified as two uh, classes. We have effectors and we have sensors. So effectors can be classified further into opsins, and opsins when attached to retinal, we call it as rhodopsin. So rhodopsin proteins are very important because these are the proteins which are responsive towards a particular wavelength of light. So when, as you can see, there the active site which is having that attached vitamin, so that active site comprises of lysine residue, protonated sheep base is there. So these are certain things which are attached in the active site, certain coordinated complex that is there in the active site. So when a light of specific wavelength is present, the isomerization of the retinal triggers a cascade of conformational changes. So this is how the protein operates. So uh, based on these conformational changes, the protein functions and it decides what response should be there. Okay, so whenever a light of a specific wavelength is hitting, so as you can see in this particular picture, I have shown you that optogenetics is all about stimulation with the help of certain light. So since, as you can see over here, this is a technique, physical method requires a lot of physical tampering. It hurts. Patients really feel like patients feel the pain, but optogenetic systems, they are not very painful. As you can see over here, just you need to incident some kind of light into your neurons and it give you some response, right? So that's why it is so much of important nowadays. So here you put a light of certain frequency and there will be series of conformational changes like isomerization takes place and the conformational change of the protein takes place. A second similarity between the type 1 type 2 opsin is both that the genes from both opsin families encode a 7 membrane structured protein, and they have a very লো সিকোয়েন্স হোমোলজি বিটুইন দ্য টু, মানে লো সিকোয়েন্স হোমোলজি কথাটার মানে হচ্ছে the entire peptide sequence of these two proteins, that is type 1 type 2, that is microbial and animal opsin, both of them have got the peptide sequences are having low similarity. So there is a low sequence homology between the two. But if you compare both the peptide sequences from type 1, type 2, there is very low sequence similarity with the order of 25 to 80% residue similarity. Residue means amino acid. So there is a percentage of match between the two kinds of opsin is varying. The percentage match varies between 25 to 80%. So this is highly similar. This is minimum similarity between the amino acid residues. Now, coming to the microbial type 1 opsins. So type 1 opsin genes are present in prokaryotic systems, as you have can see over here, it's highlighted. So this table is very important and it is important for from your examination purpose. As you can see, it determines the similarities and differences between the animal and the microbial type of opsins. So both of them require retinal for its activity. The structure which is genes of both opsin families encode seven membrane structures. So the protein is basically a seven membrane structure, and they are originating from prokaryotic type 1 and type 2 which is eukaryotic. So this table is comprising of both similarities and differences. Their main role is in homeostasis and another's role is in vision. For in animal, in our case, it is mainly important for vision. And then we have, if it is the inactive retinal, then the conformation is here all trans and here cis configuration. Now, closing of opsin channel is like no dissociation takes place. We will see how the mechanism works, and there is dissociation of the activated retinol from the opsin protein. So, closing of the opsin channel means there is a dissociation of the vitamin or the cofactor from the protein, but here there is no such dissociation, and there is a linkage that is being maintained between the retinal and the protein complex, and there is a hydrolysis of the linkage. That's why the dissociation takes place. Since there is a hydrolysis taking place between the cofactor and the protein, so a dissociation is happening. Now, type 1 opsin comprises many subfamilies including bacteriorhodopsin, channel rhodopsin, and halorhodopsin. So you can see over here type 1, that is microbial opsins, can be categorized into three classes: BR, CHR, and NPHR, where type 1 rhodopsin typically have retinal in all trans configurations bound to them. So this is in your syllabus, channel rhodopsin. They are non-specific cation channels that depolarize upon blue light illumination. So whenever we hit it with a blue light, then there are certain ion channels that are activated, so they open up. So they open up, they receive the respective ions and then they perform function, they close. So structurally they have a 7 transmembrane region and a C terminal extension. Let's see. So you can see over here a picture that depicts the channel rhodopsin and light driven pumps. So you can see microbial type 1 opsins. A class of type 1 opsin is channel rhodopsin, which is being activated by a blue light. So here, as you can see over here, this is the blue light. This is the channel rhodopsin, which is a 7 membrane protein, which is acting as a ion channel kind of protein, which open up and which allows the entry and exit of what kind of ions? These kinds of ions. So it causes the entry and exit of all these four kinds of ions. So your light is off, that means your channel is inactive and no transport of ions takes place. And whenever you are hitting it with a blue light, these are the spikes that you get at the output, that is your protein is activated and it open up and it allows the entry of these kinds of ions throughout the channel or transmembrane region. So channel rhodopsins depolarize the cells and stimulate neurons. So this is how the picture looks like in the neuron when they are being imaged under fluorescent microscopic image. These are the neurons that are being depicted with the fluorescence microscope. Fluorescence microscope, I don't know, তোরা মাইক্রোবায়োলজিতে কি মাইক্রোস্কোপ পড়েছিস? মাইক্রোবায়োলজিতে কি মাইক্রোস্কোপ পড়েছিস? শুধু কি সিম্পল লাইট এগুলো পড়েছিস, কম্পাউন্ড? আর ওইগুলো পড়িসনি, ইলেকট্রন মাইক্রোস্কোপ? ওগুলো তো ছোটবেলাও পড়েছিস, ইলেকট্রন মাইক্রোস্কোপ।
মিস আমি অত হ্যাঁ মিস
আচ্ছা
অত
ঠিক আছে।
ডিটেলসে যাই না।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, এখানে তো অত নেই, তোদের পরের সেমিস্টারে অ্যানালিটিক্যাল টেকনিক্স আছে, তখন ওগুলো আমিই পড়াবো। মাইক্রোস্কোপির প্রিন্সিপাল গুলো, মানে যেগুলো অ্যাডভান্স মাইক্রোস্কোপি। সো এইগুলো হচ্ছে অ্যাডভান্স মাইক্রোস্কোপি, যেগুলো এমনি সিম্পল মাইক্রোস্কোপ না, যেগুলো হচ্ছে ফ্লোরোসেন্ট ডিটেক্ট করে, যেগুলো কিন্তু এমনি লাইট হোয়াইট লাইট ডিটেক্ট করছে না, দে আর ডিটেক্টিং দ্য ফ্লোরোসেন্ট ইমেজ। সো ওয়েন এভার ইউ আর গিভিং ইট আ incident blue light, the fluorescence, you know fluorescence, right? Absorption, fluorescence, phosphorescence. Okay, so these microscopes are sophisticated enough to detect fluorescent signal. So whenever you are hitting it with a blue light, the fluorescent signal is being emitted, and this microscope detects the fluorescent emission. So these are all neurons, as you can see, and these glowing images are the neurons that are being activated with the blue light. So it gives you a image of the activation of the neurons upon here incident, when incident with the blue light. So you can see over here, this is all about the channel rhodopsin. They are getting depolarize the cell and stimulate the neurons upon illumination with blue light. So এইটা করে what is the significance? This will show you certain regions of the brain which is getting activated, which is responding to the external stimulus. তাহলে ব্রেনের কোন পোর্শনটা অবস্থাটা ভালো আর কোন পোর্শনটা ডিফেক্টিভ, that you can distinguish. So some of the patients, they are like the brain is dead, the people say that this portion of the brain is dead, it is not responding. So what kind of response you are expecting, right? So from a doctor's perspective, they mean that some portions of some part of the neurons or some concentration of neuron is activated when you are hitting it with a light. So these kinds of microscopic image help you decipher that which portions of the brain is having good amount of neurons which can respond to the external stimulus. External stimulus is the blue light that is being acting on the neuronal cells. On the other hand, light driven pumps, including halorhodopsin and bacteriorhodopsin, generate hyperpolarizing current, silencing the neurons in response to yellow light illumination. You can see over here, light driven pumps are something different. Unlike this kind of structure, they have a arrangement of two different kind of proteins, and they are activated or they are being triggered on or off by yellow light. As you can see over here, light off thakle, this is activated, and when the light is on, they are deactivated. So light driven pumps is little bit opposite to the channel rhodopsin. You can see over here, generate hyperpolarizing current, silencing the neurons in response to, yeah, silencing the neurons. That means when it light is on, the neuron is shut off. So you can see the movement of the ions have been depicted with arrows. এই ডায়াগ্রামটা কিন্তু খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এই যে এই পার্টিকুলার ডায়াগ্রাম পরীক্ষায় কিন্তু আসতেও পারে। You need to make sure the arrow direction, because some are moving into the system, some are moving out of the system. So by this you can say that which portion of the brains are getting activated, or neuronal cells are getting activated. So translocate negative chloride ions into the cell, while bacteriorhodopsin pump protons out of the cell. So this is the bacteriorhodopsin, আর এটা কি জানো, halorodopsin. So this is another class of transmembrane proteins. Okay, so up to this I think this diagram is very important, বারবার বলছি পরীক্ষায় আসতে পারে। Then we have, okay, so this is a better image, as you can see. So these are nothing but transmembrane proteins. These transmembrane proteins, suppose there is a concentration gradient which is mismatched, I mean imbalanced concentration gradient of sodium, potassium, chlorine, proton that has been formed across the neurons, right, or the cell membrane, across the neuronal cell membranes. As you can see over here, by just triggering with the light of correct frequency or wavelength, you can alter the concentration of these ions. So suppose there is a deposition of sodium potassium ions or sodium ions, suppose there is an excess deposition of sodium ions outside the membrane, and for perfect functioning of that cell, you need to ensure that you allow the enough amount of sodium, so you allow the enough amount of sodium to enter into the cell. So how you can do it? So it is not occurring in natural cases, that means it is a diseased neuron or diseased cell. So in that case you will be stimulating it with a light. Just by stimulating with a light, the pore opens up and you are forcing the sodium ions to enter into the system. So you can see over here, just by giving some kind of light, you are triggering the motion of the sodium ion channels. So sodium ions, channel rhodopsin allows the positive sodium ions to pass in response to blue light. This is another channel rhodopsin response to some wavelengths of green and yellow light. So this is the color, and this is another halorhodopsin which allows the movement of the chlorine ions in response to the yellow light. So this is another kind of picture. These are the lipid membranes, as you can see, and this is the transmembrane pore which is being opened up or closed according to the uh, light frequency that we are using. So this is how you can treat various kinds of uh, diseases related to your ion channel movements. আচ্ছা, আর কি আছে? I think আর কিছু নেই। আচ্ছা, so this thing I have just mentioned, that rhodopsin absorbs the blue light, causing a conformational change that allows these kinds of ions to passively diffuse down their concentration gradient, and when expressed in neurons, the opening of this channel causes a rapid depolarization of the plasma membrane that can cause action potential. So you are triggering the action potential with the help of a light. So whenever the blue light is switched off, that channel is also closed. This is the same picture. They are এখানে যে পিকচারটা দেখিয়েছিল আগে, যেটা দেখালাম, যেটা আসতে পারে পরীক্ষায় বললাম ছবিটা, that picture entire mechanism has been depicted over here. So you can see over here, this is the brain and how they are delivering the light with the help of a laser diode, and they are triggering the activity of certain regions of your brain. Since LEDs are very small in their dimensions, so they can be easily used for these kinds of optogenetic stimulation, right? আচ্ছা, সিলিয়া ফ্ল্যাজিলার ব্যাপারে আমি আর বেশি কিছু বলবো না, বিকজ ইউ ক্যান সি ইউ the main thing that from cilia flagella will be coming for examination is the detailed structure analysis and what are the various proteins that are being involved in its structure and helps in its locomotion. ওকে, আরেকটা হচ্ছে, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, এইটুকুনি বলার ছিল আমার, মোটামুটি সিলেবাস শেষ। আমি বাকি যেগুলো ম্যাটেরিয়াল আছে আমি সেগুলো পাঠিয়ে দেবো, আর যেগুলো আমি এই নোটসগুলো যেগুলো বেসিক্যালি রিসার্চ পেপার, সেই জন্য অ্যাজ ইউ ক্যান সি দেয়ার আর নট মেনি বুকস অ্যাভেলেবেল, বাট স্টিল ইফ আই গেট সাম বুকস আই উইল অবভিয়াসলি গিভ ইউ দ্য ই কপি, ঠিক আছে? সো আপাতত এটাই থাক, আমি রোল কল করে নিচ্ছি, আমি সব পাঠিয়ে দেবো যত কিছু আছে বায়োফিজিক্সে। বাকি সব সাবজেক্টের সিলেবাস শেষ?
না মিস, সিলেবাস শেষ হয়নি, টিচার্সরা এক্সট্রা ক্লাস নেবে বলেছে।
রিয়েলের শেষ হয়ে গেছে তোর সিলেবাস? তোর সিলেবাস শেষ? মাইক্রোবায়োলজি কতদিন পড়াবি আর তুই? কতদিন পড়াবি? ওদের পড়ার সময় না দিলে তো সব পাস করবে না। আমি তো আরো টেনশনে থাকি না, আমি তো পুরো একটা পেপার একা পড়াচ্ছি না, ওই জন্যই তো শেষ না করতে পারলে তো হয়ে গেল গন্ডগোল। রোল 1 2 3 4
ম্যাম,
Present, ma'am.
বলো।
ম্যাম রোল নাম্বার 3 এর মাইক কাজ করছে না।
আচ্ছা, 4
Present, ma'am.
5 6 7 7